things I wish I knew before travelling to New Zealand. Number 1. We do a lot of road trips here on the Emily and NZ channel, and distances can be deceptive. Particularly on the South Island, I notice. You can put into Google Maps and it will say 3-4 hours, and yeah, it's going to take longer. Now granted, a lot of the time we do it with our caravan on, but even if you're doing it in a car, you'll find the road speeds are lower than a lot of countries. You can get stuck behind a tractor and it just takes a bit longer to get anywhere. So plan extra into your journey because distances can be deceptive. Number 2, the weather changes fast. Today is not a beautiful day here in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, and it's raining, but it actually started the day quite warm. That is not unusual. Pack for all 4 seasons, especially on the South Island, because it can be sunny in the morning and snowing in the afternoon. I find it really helpful to have just an app just to check the weather for the particular areas, particularly if we're covering a lot of ground. You'll find it's different in one city to another, or if you go over the mountains, you'll often find the weather's changed on the west coast to the east coast. So pack your jumper, or your jersey, as they say here, pack your long trousers, pack your shorts, pack your t-shirts, pack your hat, and pack your beanie, because you're going to need them all. Internet isn't always reliable. Now we find this particularly on the west coast, whether that's the west coast of the North Island or the west coast of the South Island. The data on your phones or on your internet devices can actually mean you've got no signal. We love our Starlink. We've got the Starlink Mini, which we use in the caravan, and it uses a 12 volts. We can also use it in the car. We can use the 12 volt when we're off grid, and that is very reliable. But if you're not going ahead with the Starlink, it is worth considering to download your maps, download your movies. You'll also find when you're coming over to New Zealand, the data costs are more expensive. I recently went back to the UK and couldn't believe how much unlimited data you could get for so little money. It isn't cheap to have data over here. It's getting cheaper, I have to say, but you'll often get capped and then it will slow down at a certain point. So consider that you're going to need to download things because internet can be challenging. Number 4, everything closes early. I love this one. I like my bed. I'm not very good at staying up late. Everything will pretty much be closed 5-6 o'clock. You'll often find if you're in a restaurant, unlike Europe where people will be eating till late, they'll be closing up around 9-10 o'clock. So bear that in mind, particularly in rural towns, you'll find they're closed quite early. Maybe in the CBDs in Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch, they'll open a bit later, but you'll still find everything closes a little bit earlier than you thought. Number 5. Putting this one in because it didn't actually catch me out because I came from England, but it might catch other people out. We drive on the left. A few signs in hire cars, there's signs on the road, particularly around Queenstown for some of our Chinese visitors, to remind you, please drive on the left. Hi, I'm Emily and I run Emily in NZ. I post about living, working and exploring this beautiful country that is New Zealand. Hit subscribe because I update every week about my top tips and also what we get up to in our travels around New Zealand. Now back to my list. Number 6. This is really important whether you're a tourist or a local like myself. Book early, particularly in peak season. Peak season here is between October and February, March, depending on when Easter lands. It's really important you book ahead. I'm currently booking Christmas. It's April. Yes, I know, I'm booking our campsite for Christmas and I'm actually having to choose from what's left. You need to book your tours, you need to book your ferries, you need to book any train travel, any bus travel, accommodation, car hire. I'm not saying there's nothing available, but you could be disappointed. We recently went to Waitomo and it was a last minute decision. I did get a booking, but I couldn't get it for the day I wanted. And then I got a 9 AM booking in 3 days time. So that was okay. And we were at the end of peak season. So bear in mind, if you want to book things, do it when you plan your trip. Number 7, here in New Zealand, you don't have to tip. You don't need to provide a tip in a restaurant or for your tour guides. It's appreciated, but you don't have to. So you can consider this in part of your budgeting. If you do feel like tipping, a lot of the tourism companies appreciate it. Although it is pretty rare if you're in a non-tourism area. So don't worry too much about tipping because people are paid a wage that doesn't take into account the tip in this country. Number 8, it's clean and green for a reason. Before you even get into the country, you're going to meet the biosecurity restrictions. There are a lot of things you cannot bring into the country. Please research this before you get on your flight, before you pack your bag even. When you arrive, you will have all your bags scanned. You will Take your luggage off and you'll have that luggage scanned before you can leave the airport. They will be looking for mud on your shoes. They will be looking for animal products. They will be looking for organic products. They'll be looking for things like honey, food. You need to declare all the food that you're bringing into the country, and they do not want any organic produce. They will take it off you and fine you. This is really important because I know it can damage people's experience on arriving into the country, but we have a beautiful country and we keep the pests out. A lot of these come through biosecurity hazards. Number 9, there is more to New Zealand than just Queenstown and Rotorua. Granted, I go on and on about Rotorua and how awesome it is, because it is. I've got a whole playlist, it's so great. However, there's so much to see. In my road trip videos, I try and include as many recommendations as possible, particularly for off-the-grid, non-touristy things, because they're amazing. Beautiful places like going north of Auckland in the Bay of Islands, heading all the way down south to the Catlins, going across to the west coast to towns like Westport. They're not traditionally on the tourism marketing, but they're amazing. So do your research. And the final one is the people are lovely, but Kiwis are rule followers. I recently did a video about freedom camping and the rules around self-containment and freedom camping, and it's really, really important you follow the rules. You cannot just park your vehicle on the side of the road. They joke that the British like to queue. We do. But so do the Kiwis. There's a level of politeness and courtesy, and it's beautiful. Polite people, wonderful, chatty people, but be considerate. There's rules and you need to understand them when visiting the country. These rules extend to conservation areas, where a lot of the places you need to wash your shoes before you enter, stepping onto disinfectant pads in consideration for, again, biosecurity. So there are rules in certain areas. Some of them will be put in multiple languages, but bear in mind they might only be in English. And my final one's not really in the top 10. It's just something I think you should consider, is respecting Māori culture. I've done a few videos about Māori language here on my channel. It would be handy to learn a few key words like kia ora and ngā mihi, hello and thank you, Aotearoa, which is New Zealand. These handy phrases are just polite and helpful to know. Ka pai te rā, have a nice day. Also respecting when you're on Māori site, things like a moai, in the removing your shoes, and you only go if you're invited onto the property. And another one is don't sit on tables. It's tapu, sacred, to sit on a table where somebody eats. And a really good one is to learn about the Treaty of Waitangi. Waitangi is a wonderful place up in the Bay of Islands where they signed the treaty between the English and the Māori. It'd be really beneficial to learn about the principles before your visit to New Zealand. And also include Waitangi on your road trip plan. Thank you for watching. I hope you find that video useful. Hit subscribe because I update every week about our adventures and the top tips for visiting New Zealand. In the meantime, check out one of these videos that you might find useful. I'll see you in my next video.